Hello guys! Welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Lakwatsirong Butiki. Mula doon sa makasaysayang simbahan ng Angeles City, Pampanga, ang apong Mama Kalolo, nandito na ako ngayon sa makasaysayan rin na simbahan ng Candaba, Pampanga, ang Nuestra, Señora de la Merced Parish. Samahan niyo ako dito guys! In the thriving town of Candaba, Pampanga, which is known for its famous swamp, for it is the resting place of migratory birds that attracted bird watchers and tourists over the years, it is also one of Pampanga's historic towns. It is also in Candaba where the parish of Nuestra Señora de la Merced is enshrined and became a focal point of pilgrimage for years. The miraculous image of Nuestra Señora de la Merced of Candaba, Pampanga is a sculpted, detallado image of the Madonna and Child. The image is vested in white, a diagnostic color of the Virgin of Mercy of the Mercedarian order. Oftentimes, the image wears a metal plancha. The mother and child wears splendid crowns, a 12 estrellas for the Virgin, and holds the white scapular of the Mercedarian order. The unique feature of this image is that the Virgin holds a sword, which somehow shows her power, or most probably, as observed, she is in the position of knighting, where the queen or king appoints a person for a special mission or elevating the person's status to the royal court. In the case of the image, she might be knighting for the three visionaries of Our Lady of Mercy, Saint Pedro Nolasco, Saint Raymond of Peñafort, and King James of Aragon. In the 13th century, Spain was conquered by a Muslim group of fundamentalists known as the Almohads. This allowed the Berbers to extend their power base from North Africa to the portals of Spain, which would bring untold misery to many. But things would take a turn for the worse for the Islamic invaders when many Christian nations united to defeat this formidable foe. It was the decisive battle at Las Navas de Tolosa, which led to the defeat of Islamic rule in Europe. But though the Spanish nation suffered much under the harsh rule of the Berbers, still they prayed to God to save them from their enemies. In these dark times, in 1218, Our Lady appeared before Saint Peter Nolasco and his confessor, Saint Raymond of Peñafort, and to King James of Aragon, and she requested that a religious order be instituted for the release of Christians being held captive by the invaders. Our Lady requested that this order would venerate her mercy towards all those who were in captivity. This would touch Peter, Raymond, and King James of Aragon deeply, and they both undertook the duty of spreading this devotion to all the people. These two holy men were also very willing to take the place of those who had been kidnapped in order for the release of the poor prisoners who had been taken hostage by the Moors. It would be Pope Gregory IX who would approve this order, which would become known as Royal celestial and military order of Our Lady of Mercy and the redemption of the captives. And the three founders, aside from the Virgin Mary, were Saint Peter Nolasco, King James I of Aragon, and Bishop Berenger de Palau, Bishop of Barcelona, with Saint Raymond of Peñafort as their confessor. Saint Raymond also spoke with great love and devotion to all who would listen to him of Our Lady's appearance to him, and of Our Lady offering 2 bags of coins to pay the ransom for the imprisoned people. He spoke so eloquently and with such conviction that it moved the crowds to tears and also touched the hearts of kings. But it was Father Peter Nolasco who would be chosen as the Commander-General of this divine mission to save those who were imprisoned by the cruel Moors and who were suffering under terrible conditions. And as the Muslim invaders were pushed farther and farther back, this meant more young men joining this order, from which they would be known as Mercedarians. And it was this brave priest who would engage the Moors to pay ransoms for the freedom of their brothers held in captivity. Today, the friars of the Order of Our Lady of Mercy continue to rescue others from modern types of captivity such as social, political, and psychological forms. The image of Nuestra Señora de la Merced was said to have brought a priest, Reverend Father Anicito de la Merced, in the 18th century. It is said that the image was first brought by the Hospitalier Brothers or Saint John of God, because Hacienda Bahay Pari was originally owned by San Juan de Dios Hospital and was used for the care of the sick. They were taken care of by this congregation and brought to the Church of Our Lady of Mercy and were healed. Oral tradition has it that when the image was brought to Bahay Pari, Candaba, Pampanga, it was initially placed in a makeshift chapel made of wood and thatched roof made from palm leaves. However, one day it is said that Our Lady, together with Saint Lucy and Saint Catherine of Alexandria, reportedly took human form and went to the house of a well-known skilled carpenter in Plaridel, Bulacan. There, she asked the carpenter to have her house built. Then, upon the arrival of the carpenter to the place where he had never been before, he saw the makeshift chapel, and when looking on the 3 images, he realized that the 3 women were the holy patrons of Candaba, that a more fitting chapel for the Virgin was built. As the years passed by, in the 1970s, during the time of Reverend Father Lope Hernandez, he led the construction of a concreted church that can now be seen today. Several miracles that were attributed to Apong de la Merced were reported and collected over the years, and here are some of the most well-known. When there was a time that Apong de la Merced was honored on her feast day through a fluvial procession in the streets of Maasim River, there the devotees would bathe in the water, with firm beliefs that it had been blessed by the Virgin and cures thus occur. On one occasion, during a fluvial procession, the child Jesus fell to the river, but to everyone's surprise, witnesses recalled that he moved from one place in the boat to another, much to the awe and amazement of those who witnessed this phenomenon. Another noticeable characteristic of Apong de la Merced is her change of facial expressions when someone is asking for a favor that can be immediately granted. And if the image seems to frown, it is a sign that it would take some time to be granted. A devotee recounts that when her mother was hospitalized due to severe stomach pains and she cannot move, she immediately went to Apong de la Merced for her help, and the following morning, all were dumbfounded when they saw her mother get up from her sick bed as if nothing happened. Myrna Kulala, a public school teacher of Candaba, recounts when she was hospitalized with 50-50 chance to survive. One night, a nurse came to her room to attend her medical needs and was immediately cured. She noticed that the nameplate of the nurse read De la Merced and asked her if she is from Candaba. The nurse replied yes, and that her house is in the front of the church. She later found out that there was no one in the town with the family name De la Merced, and a house where the nurse is staying does not exist. She then realized that it was the Virgin who cured her. The devotion to Apong de la Merced continues to flourish in Candaba and later becoming known in the other parts of the country. On her feast day, September 24, and on August 2, the anniversary of the apparition of Our Lady of Mercy, pilgrims flock the parish and join the devotions and processions in her honor. The procession is being held twice. First, on the Sunday before September 24, and on the actual feast day itself. Saturday devotions to Apong de la Merced will be always filled with devotees, where rosaries, devotions, and masses are offered to the Virgin, and a special mass is offered for the vocation of priest and nun who are the children of the parish that resulted to produce priests and religious of the town. The devotion to Mary as the Mother of Mercy is one of the most ancient devotions to the Mother of God for centuries, and it endured the test of time. As she promised to the three saintly visionaries for her protection and help on liberating captives from evil forces, let us ask for her intercession so that she can protect our people and liberate her children from captivity of the evil one who wants to destroy peace that God established. Mula naman dito sa Candaba, Pampanga, didiretso pa ako ngayon patungong San Luis, Pampanga. Isang makasaysayang simbahan ang puntiryahin ko doon, ang San Luis Gonzaga Parish Church, o mas kilala sa pangalan na San Luis Church. Abangan niyo ko doon, guys! Bye-bye!